Most veterans have no idea they're sitting on one of the most powerful wealth building tools in America, and they're only using half of it. The truth is this: you can have more than one VA home loan at the same time, and when you understand how to use that correctly, it can change your financial trajectory for the rest of your life. After 21 years in the Air Force, I can tell you personally that nobody ever sat us down and explained how VA entitlement really works. You get told, hey, you can buy a home with no money down, which is great, but nobody tells you that you can use your entitlement again without even selling the first house, and that one move can open the door to long-term wealth through real estate. Most veterans think that the VA loan is a one and done benefit, but it's not. You can reuse it. You can stack properties with it. And if you understand bonus entitlement, you can build a real estate portfolio strategically without draining your savings or taking on unnecessary risks. That's exactly what we're breaking down today. Buying a home with a VA loan does not mean you're stuck there forever. Let's walk through a real, modern scenario using Kansas City market numbers that actually make sense in 2025. Let's say you bought your first home for about $350,000 using your VA loan. You moved in, you lived there for at least a year, you built some equity, and now life has shifted. Maybe you grew your family, maybe you want a different school district, maybe you want more space, or maybe you just want a little more breathing room. So now you're thinking, Joe, can I buy another home using the VA loan? And the answer, assuming the entitlement is still available, is yes. Your VA loan doesn't trap you in that first house. It launches you into the next one. This is the part of the VA loan nobody ever tells veterans, and it changes everything. Now here's where most veterans miss the opportunity. Once you've lived in that first VA home for at least a year, you're allowed to convert it into a rental property. Yes, even though you bought it with a VA loan, the VA isn't against renting. They're against misrepresenting your intention. You lived there. You honored the rule. Now you can move on. And here's something that surprises a lot of people. When you rent out that first home, your lender can use 75% of that rental income to help offset the mortgage payment. So if you're renting that property for $2,000 a month, the lender can give you $1,500 in credit towards your qualification. All of a sudden, qualifying for the next home becomes a whole lot easier than most veterans expect. This is where most VA advice online gets the math completely wrong. The next question I get every single week is this: Joe, can I buy my second home with a VA loan and still put zero down? And here's the easiest way to understand it in 2025. The VA doesn't need to back the entire loan to protect the lender. They only guarantee 25% because that's the portion that historically covers lender risk if a loan ever defaults. That limited guarantee is what allows veterans to buy with zero down without the VA putting up the full amount. In most of Kansas City, the VA bases that guarantee on the conforming loan limit, which in 2025 is a little over $766,000. 25% of that is roughly $191,000, and you can think of that as your total VA guarantee bucket. Now, when you bought your first home for $350,000, about $87,500 of that bucket was used to back the loan. It doesn't disappear, but it's tied up as long as you still own that home with the VA loan. So now you take $191,000 total guarantee, subtract $87,500 already in use, and that leaves you with about $103,500 of remaining entitlement. That remaining entitlement can fully guarantee a second VA loan of roughly $414,000 with zero money down. If the home you want stays at or below that number, you're looking at zero down. And if the home price goes above it, that doesn't mean the deal dies or that you suddenly need 20% down. It just means the amount above that threshold creates a gap. And that gap is what drives the partial down payment calculation. This is what lenders call bonus entitlement. And it's how veterans are able to buy a second home without selling the first one or starting over. Let me show you how veterans buy a $550,000 home without starting over. Now let's talk about what I call a high-class veteran problem, right? Let's say your dream home is $550,000. Bigger lot, better neighborhood, maybe a pool, maybe that kitchen your spouse has been hinting at for years. The question becomes, can I buy a $550,000 home even though part of my entitlement is tied up in my first one? And the answer is yes. But here's how the math actually works. Based on the remaining entitlement we just walked through, the VA can fully guarantee roughly $414,000 of your next purchase with zero down. That means the difference between what's fully guaranteed and the $550,000 is about $136,000. You don't need all of that down. You don't need 20% down on the whole house. You only need to bring 25% of that difference. In this case, that's about $34,000, not six figures. Not starting over, just covering the 25% of the gap. And for a lot of veterans, that's the move that gets them into the home they actually want without selling the first one or draining their savings. This is the move that resets your VA loan like it never happened. Let's take it even further because this is where the long-term wealth strategy really kicks in. Let's say a few years go by, interest rates fall, or you simply want to free up your full entitlement again. If your first home has equity from either appreciation or renters paying down your mortgage or whatever, you can refinance that property from a VA loan into a conventional mortgage. And when you do that, your VA entitlement tied to that first house is released. You're restored to full entitlement, and now you can buy another home using VA financing with zero down, up to any purchase price that your income and credit support. Yes, that includes million-dollar homes. And yes, veterans do it, probably not super often. The VA loan is not a beginner loan though. It is a lifetime benefit that gives you mobility, flexibility, and a strategic path to long-term stability and wealth if you use it intentionally. This misunderstanding costs veterans millions every single year. Here's why all of this matters right now. Too many veterans get stuck in their first home because they think they're out of options. They think they have to sell. They think they have to wait. And they think that the VA loan is something that they only maybe get to use once. That misunderstanding costs veterans every single year. Lost equity, lost rental opportunities, lost appreciation, and lost time. The VA loan is the most powerful mortgage product in the United States, but only if you use it to move forward instead of keeping you pinned in one place. Before you make your next move, there's one conversation you need to have. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, renting out your home, or stacking VA loans the right way, talk to someone who actually specializes in VA financing. My team and I help veterans all over the country, and we'd be honored to walk through your specific numbers and your specific goals. Every veteran situation is unique, and the strategy matters. If you want clarity before you make your next move, call or text me directly. I'll make sure that you're squared away, confident, and set up for success. If this video helps you understand your VA loan options, hit that like button so more veterans can find it. Subscribe for more breakdowns on VA benefits and Kansas City real estate, and drop your questions in the comments. I answer every single one personally. Thank you for your service, and thank you for letting me serve you back.